Hello everybody, on today's video I want to talk about this. This is a new mesh Wi-Fi system that I've been using for about 6 weeks now. I installed it on the 2nd of December. It's now second week in January. It really is very good. It's by Taotronics or Taotronics. It's the AC3000 tri-band mesh router system. This replaced my NETGEAR ORBI system, not through choice, but I thought I would set it up and see how it went. And the best thing I can say about it is that I've never ever had to worry about it. I've never had to turn it off or on again. So I figured, why do I need to set up my NETGEAR router again, the ORBI system? And I gave it to my mum. I've installed it in her house. It's working really well there, as it worked well here. But it's been replaced with this. I'm very, very happy with it. It has got a couple of advantages over the NETGEAR ORBI system, and that's why I and not gave that to my mum, is the fact that it's got a USB port, which means you can set up a NAS drive, not just for one satellite, for all 3 satellites. So you can have 3 NAS drives on every satellite. And also, it's got 4 Ethernet ports on every satellite. So basically, the ORBI system only had 2. It had 3 on the main one and 2 on every satellite. This has got 4 on a satellite, and well, they're all exactly the same, but 4 on the main router. So that means you've got one LAN that plugs in, and then you've got 3 ports on there. So really, you've got, what's that? 4, 4, and 3, 11? 11 ports throughout your house. So that's the reason why I've kept it along with the NAS drive functionality. Unfortunately, the NAS drive functionality doesn't really work out for me because I'm using Mac. It's only compatible with FAT32 and NTFS file systems. So because I'm using a Mac, they are not exactly compatible with the Mac. Well, FAT32 is, but it's got a 4 GB file system. The maximum file you can use on a FAT32 is 4 GB, which isn't very big nowadays. And you can only read off of an NTFS using a Mac. You can't write to it. So it really is, the functionality isn't great for what I would want to use it for. I'd want to read and write, but I can always use it if I wanted to use it just to read off it all the same. I've also done a setup video of this. I'm going to link it separately, and it goes through the whole process of setting this up, and it really only takes 10 to 20 minutes, and half of that time you're just waiting for the router to upgrade or reboot anyway. The best thing I can say about this is the fact that I've completely forgotten I've got it in my house, and that's the best thing you can say about a Wi-Fi system, to be honest with you, is that it just works in the background and you don't know it's there. Never had to touch it, never had to unplug it, plug it back in or anything like that. It's just always worked in the background. The specs are just here. Now it is wireless. It's 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz Wi-Fi bands. It's Wi-Fi 5, not Wi-Fi 6, but you can get speeds up to 3 gig there. There's your wireless standards, and that's what it supports as well. If you're not into the technicalities, then that will mean nothing to you. I don't want to bombard you with specs, but that's the most important thing for me, is the difference between this and the NETGEAR is that it's got a USB port and it's got 4 Ethernet ports, which is awesome. This packaging for this is really, really impressive as well. And I did a really good unboxing video because the packaging was excellent, and I've lost it, so I really do apologize for that. Let's just have another closer look at the actual satellite. These are, I mean, the router, because they're all exactly the same. You've got your 4 ports there. That's where you would plug in your Ethernet cable that comes from your modem. And then you've got 3 other ports, but you can actually use 4 of them when you're using it as a satellite function. You've then just got, that's where you plug it in. You've got an on and off, and you've also got a reset button, and you've got the USB 3.0 port, which can, well, you can charge devices on it if you like, but it's most suitable is using a NAS function. It really is cool. Now, around the front, the top, I should say, that you've got an LED light there that will blink different colors depending on the functionality and what you're actually doing. But when it's running fine, it's blue, and you can also turn that off as well. Around the front, you've just got the Taotronics logo, and then you've just got some feet in the bottom, and also you've got your like Mac and all that kind of serial numbers and whatnot. One thing I will have to point out is that it is quite easily marked. I don't know if you can just see that there. So maybe in the future they could maybe update it so that it's not quite as easily marked. So look after it and you'll be absolutely fine. So like I said before, I actually ditched my NETGEAR for ORBI system for this. Well, I say ditched, I just installed this and I wanted to see how it went. It's gone so well that I actually installed my NETGEAR ORBI system in my mum's house, who was desperately needing a mesh Wi-Fi system in her house. So now she's got Wi-Fi everywhere in the house, just like I do. Now, I get the speeds around about 350 download speed, and I do actually get that speed pretty much everywhere in the house. It all depends on how high the traffic is in my area, but generally speaking, I get around about the 350, if not more. And this certainly delivers it. Now, it does come with an app, and that's how you would install it. And I'm just going to show you the app right now. So I'm using it, and my phone's actually my camera, so I'm just going to take that down right now. I'm going to show you the app. Okay, when it's all set up, this is what the app is going to look like as soon as you open it up. Straight off the bat, you see how many networking routers you've got. I've got 2 out of 3, and then the reason why I've only got 2 out of 3 is because I had to unplug this one to show you for the video, but normally that would say 3 out of 3. I've also got 12 online devices right now. Now, it also gives you the speed, the upload and the download speed of what it's actually using from your network. If you click into it, I will have to blur some of this out, but it does give you all basically where it is, you know, what, if you're wanting a group, where it's linked to, what node it's linked to, or satellites it's linked to. You can add it to a blacklist, which basically means it'll then stop being able to use your router, basically. Now, one word of warning is that if you add something to a blacklist, you can't really get it back. So I've contacted the manufacturers about that, and they haven't got back to me just yet. So hopefully, if there's a way around that other than just putting it on the white list, which I'm going to show you just in a second, there's no way just to turn it off and on again. And that's one of the things that I do miss from the NETGEAR ORBI, is the fact that when you used to go into those apps, you could literally view your device, click on it, and you'd be able to take it off the Wi-Fi. You can pause it, so if somebody's not getting off their PlayStation, for example, you can just turn it off, and that way, you know, they will not be able to get access to your Wi-Fi, and then you can just turn it back on when they behave themselves. That sort of idea. So that gives you an idea of everything that's on it. As you can see, they've also got little icons, which is very, very nice. So if you're back into the settings, there's a lot here that I've got to be honest, it goes over my head. It's too technical for me, so I'm not going to pretend that I'm an expert on it. So if you know what they are, please put in the comment section what they all do. You've got your Wi-Fi settings, we've already been in that. Your network settings is just that. You can also set up a guest network as well, and you've also got parental controls. You've got your AI system, which is, you can optimize that at a certain time of day, where I've got it set for pretty much every day of the week at 3 AM. We've got AI QoS. I have no idea what that is. You've got your LAN port settings, which is basically your IP address, where you can manipulate that if you want to. You've also got a firewall that is already enabled by default. You can do a speed test, which you can test how fast each satellite is communicating with each other, basically. Where do we get to? You can enable a 2.4 network. Now that actually comes as standard, which is really, really good, to be honest with you, because now if you're only running a 2.4 gigahertz and a /5 gigahertz combined, now if you're going to add things like a smart plug, for example, they really all work on 2.4, so it's really handy just to have a separate Wi-Fi that is just a 2.4 and a separate 5 gigahertz, and that way if you ever need to just connect to a 2.4 gigahertz, you can do that, and we have that automatically enabled with this, so it's just a really good feature. With the NETGEAR, you couldn't have that. I had to set up a separate one myself. That's a good tip, actually. Now, if you've got a lot of smart devices, set your original ISP modem to 2.4 gigahertz only if you can, and that way, if you're ever going to be changing your Wi-Fi like I do quite regularly, obviously if I'm testing this, I'll always have a base unit, which is my ISP router that's set to 2.4 that all my smart devices and plugs will be connected to, so they will not be interrupted when I change my mesh Wi-Fi system. We've also got a built-in VPN. I've not actually used that at the moment. It's disabled. I would need to look into that. We've got that, which again, I used to know, but I must admit I have totally forgotten all about, and I'm not going to pretend to know what I know about. You've got a virtual server, you've got your statistics, which show you very good, actually handy, of what exactly is using your Wi-Fi and how much actually is getting used, which is really, really handy to look at. You've got advanced settings, which you can actually change the length of your 5G bandwidth. I've got it set for 80 meters by default. You can upgrade your firmware, which mine is needing upgraded. So all I would do is literally click on that and it will tap to upgrade. This is your LED function where you can turn on and off the LED function on top of that. Now default, this will always be on. So if it's too much of a nuisance in a dark room, you can turn that off, and that's how you would do it. And you've also got, you can also set up a file server. That's for your NAS drive, for example. That's how you would do it. You've got your DDNS, and this is your wireless whitelist. Now this is actually quite handy. Now if you turn this on, I'm not going to do it because I've got other things divided. In fact, I will do it. It's going to really annoy people in my house. So if I set that up right now, and then I go back into my home settings, you'll find that they're the only devices that are now online. Everything else has been totally turned off. So anyone else trying to access the Wi-Fi right now will not be able to, other than those 3 devices that I've got there. Now, if I want to go back to that, I would just go into the wireless whitelist and then turn it off. Now, once I turn it off, I'll then go back into the home and you'll find that they're already adding back up. So it's a really good way of, that's one good way of turning off devices if you want to set up a whitelist, and you can turn off everything other than the things that are on your whitelist. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. That's the Taotronics mesh Wi-Fi system. What one I've got is the AC3000, and it is the 3 nodes. This is actually an American one, and it's not available. The 3 nodes is not available. The satellites are not available in the UK at this time. You can only get 2 for this, so I've actually got an American one that works really well. You just need an adapter for your plugs. Retail wise, this is $350, so it's not cheap. If you wanted one with 2 satellites, it's $250. So yes, they're not cheap, but I'm very, very happy with them, and it is a solid product with a lot of functionality. So I'm going to do an update of this if I'm still using this in 6 months' time. Who knows? I don't know what I'll be reviewing in future, but if I'm still using this in 6 months' time, we'll be doing an update on it to tell you if I'm still enjoying it. But at the moment, I have had no problems with it, and I'm very, very happy with the fact that I've swapped to it. There we go. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much. I appreciate you for clicking my video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye now.